Good evening, race fans. Pirate here, Black Flag Racing TV. And it's an absolute doozy for you this evening. This is the opening round of the GTC HyPrix BMW Cup. And this is the top lobby. These 14 drivers, 15 if Curry makes it. These drivers are the pinnacle, the top drivers from qualifying last week. And I can tell you what, every single one of them has the pace and the capability to win this race here. It is going to be an absolute stonking, spicy race of epic proportions this evening. We're at Sardenga Layout A in the BMWs. They've got a choice of the M3, the M6 or the Z4. Absolutely anything they want is down to them. This is the lineup for the four lobbies this evening. We're in lobby 1, of course. Zeno will be on pole, having been the top driver at qualifying. John joins him on the front row. Sharky and Blue Paladin on row 2. HPR and The Truth. You can't handle The Truth, and I'll tell you what, he's getting quicker and quicker every time he gets in a car. They're on row 3. Row 4 is Kaizan. Tyler looking very strong with LJ joining him on row 4. Natu and Greasy Sam Squanch on row 5. Monkey Man Macho, one of our very own from Black Flag. He's joined by Curry if he makes it on row 6. If not, it'll be Karama, who is joined by Nico, and Kawazuri squeezes in to the last spot in this number 1 lobby. Lobby 2 being hosted by Chris on the same channel. Of course, you can find him in the same place. Check it out. They're both going to be absolutely amazing races. We are about 2 minutes away from qualifying here. Just give you a little bit of information. So it is essentially 1 hour of racing. Any tyres they want to use, whatever they want to do, however they want to do it. The important thing is not just where you finish, but your lap time, because the lap time will dictate where you start next time out, because everybody's lobby place and their position within the grid the following week is set by their fastest lap. So we will keep an eye on that. Few things to consider. Sorry, bear with me. Take that off. Gentlemen's GP is coming up this week. That will be on Tuesday, if I remember rightly. You can check it out on gtchampions.com. They will tell you all about it. It's motor swapped cars. That actually looks like something I might try and get involved in. Something I am involved in is this. It's the Renault Clio Cup on iRacing. It's the first ever GT Champions iRacing event. It is awesome. Really looking forward to that. And then you've got Midweek Madness, as usual on Thursday, July 20th. 2 races in the mono, which is not too bad. So, without further ado, I think it's time we just get cracking with the race. And I will let the guys know we are about to start. Bear with me because I'm hosting as well as broadcasting. There we go. Everyone's checked in. I think we're ready to go. Without further ado, we've got the grid set, and I think we get on with it. So here we go. Round number 1 of the BMW Cup, and we will get started. A bit quick with the with the overlay then, but I'm trying to multitask and I don't do that very well, as you know. As you all well know. Here we go. Right. We want to turn that off. No, we'll leave that one. There we go. Let's get some game sounds in. Then we can hear what's going on. Right, it's 3 lights. That's 4. That's 5. And we are away. And a great start from everybody. It looks clean thus far. Want to see how they get into turn 1, whether or not it is clean as they go through. And it looks so far like it is going to be that way. and really annoying because I can hear myself in my ear, and it's really, really annoying. Oh, John gets turned around. There's a couple of cars off there. Just want to check how many we've lost. So let's see if we can find what happened to John. We're going to go back, have a little look and see what happened. So he gets tagged a little bit by Sharky there and spins around. Only a couple of cars involved there, so no red flag incident there. So we continue. So not a great start. That's something that the stewards can look at later. But Zeno, the Dutchman, already showing his pace. He was phenomenal in qualifying. And from what I heard, he actually held back a little bit. He's looking very, very strong already. 2.2 seconds clear. We won't talk about tyre strategies just yet. Blue Paladin from the United States. He is just holding on in second. He's got Natu. Natu is an incredibly fast driver. Just behind him, LJ from Australia is also in there. He's in fourth place. Monkey Man Macho, great start from him. He's jumped all the way up from 11th on the grid to 5th place. Good start from the black flag driver. Let's have a look at his livery, because our livery guy Slipstream's racing in lobby 2 this evening, and I'll tell you what, he does a brilliant job every time out. Look at that, it's beautiful. I do want to point out we've got a little tribute there. If you see it just behind the window there, that is the Proper Blokes Club. It's a charity set up by a friend of mine here in the UK. He set it up during lockdown, and it's basically getting blokes to go out once a week, have a little walk wherever it is in their local area, and just have a chat about anything that's bothering them. And it's a kind of mental health thing, and we're giving them some love as Monkey Man Macho makes that move on Kawazuri. He's also had a great start. We'll have a little look at that and see how he got that move done. So Monkey Man Macho, you can see here he's got Kawazuri behind him there. It's actually LJ, so Kawazuri makes a great move past Monkey Man Macho, and LJ gets it all kinds of wrong. Monkey Man Macho manages to get past both him and Kawazuri up into 4th position. So, full rundown. There is Zeno. 3 seconds clear already. Really pushing the boundaries and already out. 3.3 seconds clear. Natu up into second. Makes the move around Blue Paladin. That was an awesome little move to make that... There you can see they're just sliding past, and these cars are so similar in terms of performance. You're really not going to have any sort of benefit car to car. It's all about your own ability. Blue Paladin down to 3rd. Monkey Man Macho up to 4th. As we know, he's got LJ just there behind him, and behind him is the man himself from Canada, Greasy Sam Squanch. And I'll tell you what, check out this guy's YouTube. He has got some awesome stuff on there, and really good racer. And he's also he's a guest presenter for one of the channels on GT Fusion as well. I've seen him a couple of times, so do check that out. He's very knowledgeable. He's probably forgotten more than I know about motor racing, and I'm much older than him. John's got a great run on him though. Is John going to get this move made under Slipstream? He does. He gets that way somewhere. He hasn't got it done, but he's got the inside line here. He does get that move done, and Greasy tucks in behind him. That's John up to 6th. He's trying to rescue after that little punt in turn 1, lap 1 from Sharky. So here we are, lap 3. We've got 1 hour of racing here, and already we've seen some great wheel-to-wheel action. Back in 8th, that's Karama, the French driver. He came in late actually into the GTC World Championship and set it on fire with his insane pace, moving up from through the divisions, eventually ending up in Division 2 with his pace. And he makes the move around Greasy. Greasy tanking through the order at the moment. Kawazuri down to 9th. He's lost a few places, the HyPrix driver. He's so we've got HyPrix, Greasy Sam Squanch, and Kawazuri, the 2 HyPrix drivers in 8th and 9th. Zeno still leading, of course. And there is Tyler, the man himself, Kaizen, with the Mashed Spuds Racing Team, new setup for this BMW Cup. He was a black flag driver, and I wish him all the best in his new venture with Mashed Spuds. And they showed incredible pace in the qualifying session, to be fair, and looking really good thus far. Joining him in Mashed Spuds is HPR Mashed Spuds. I think he is, isn't he? Yes, he is, of course. HBR, another driver that showed incredible pace during the GTC, and he's currently running in 11th place. Sharky, he had that coming together with John on lap 1. He's down to 12th. He is the GTC World Champion, hence the fact he sports the number 1 on his BMW. Do not count this guy out at any stage of a race, because he will hunt you down. He is a very, very talented racing driver. They say you can't handle him, and they would be right. You can't handle the truth. Division 2 in the GTC last year, and already showing that he's got that pace to move up into the big leagues. Running 13th at the moment, the Canadian. Just ahead of Nico, running in 14th position. Why is it not showing me 14th position? Oh, there we go. It is if I press the right button. Pay attention to what you're doing, Andy. Multitasking, never my strong point. So there we go. That's your 14 runners. Zeno at the moment, though, absolutely dominant. 4.5 seconds clear is that Dutch driver with a 1:41.2 as the fastest lap. Now, it's going to be a lot. You've got to play the long game here, because it's a tricky racetrack, Sardengo. We'll go on board, actually. Let's do it on board now with Zeno, because you really need to get every corner dialed in. So you head round the final turn, you just let it drift out to that left hand side. You head up the hill past the pit entrance, which is on your right, and then it starts to climb as you head towards turn 1. You let the car drift to the right hand side, 100 metre ball, get on those brakes, get it turned in before you get back on the power. And there's the famous Sardengo windmills. I will go over the there are some new corner names handed down by the RWB guys, which I will try and get chucked in at some point. Really tricky section here, this kind of left-right combo before you get on the power. And actually, despite the fact there's quite a lot of turns here at Sardengo, it's a pretty quick racetrack. This, to me, is one of the hardest corners in the game, because it just seems to go on forever. And you go too tight, you're going to clip the wall on the inside. You get on the gas a little bit too early, you clip that outside wall. You head up, it switches round to the left hand side. You power through all of this sector before this big braking zone. Again, 100 metre board, get it changed down, get on those brakes. Again, on the power, avoid the grass on the right hand side. As you power up, you've got the helicopter there as you're climbing, switching round to the right hand side. You've got another big left hander coming up here. Little dab of brake down to 3rd gear, back on the power again, up to 4th. Another big braking zone before you nearly finish the lap. This is a massive braking zone down to 2nd gear. Careful on the gas, you don't want to lose that back end as he nearly did there. And back on the power, and then you flick round, and that is your lap around Sardengo. Hey, great. I absolutely love this racetrack. It's one of my favourite racetracks on GT7. There is Natu. He hasn't got it all plain sailing, because at the moment he has got Macho Man, the black flag driver, just behind him, really tucked in there in that slipstream, looking for a way through. There might be an opportunity in Sector 2 as they start climbing up the hill. You can see here he's tucked nicely in behind. This is a great little battle going on between these two. Natu is no slouch when it comes to pace, of course. Macho Man looking up the inside. Great room left actually by Natu. Great respect. But just had enough pace to keep Macho behind him. But Macho certainly looking there. You can see on the back actually the advert for it's a band called Swarm 6 that sponsored Black Flag. And they've got a single out called Dopamine. Check it out if you're into like your really heavy metal. If you're not, then don't, because it will make you feel sick. Anyway, Natu does open up the gap a little bit. Macho not able to stick in behind through that section, and these guys now pulling away. Zeno absolutely dominating up front. Natu and Macho Man rounding out that top 3. There is John. He's fought his way back, and he's at the head of a little train, and this is a train that's got Greasy at the back. Look at this. 4 cars vying for, at the moment, 4th position. You've got Blue Paladin going very wide. Kurama trying to find a way through, but just not enough time between those 2 corners for him to make that move. He does make the move there. Almost loses the back end. Blue Paladin losing out. Kurama through. Greasy Sam squanches through. That was a great little move, and Blue Paladin losing out 2 places there. You can see here, he comes up, he's tucked in behind his teammate, and then you can just see, gets it a little bit wrong, gets on the grass, Kurama on the power, Greasy on the power, and through they come up into 5th and 6th place. Blue Paladin dropping down now to 7th. That's the battle currently going on for 4th place. Kawazuri, he's the other HyPrix driver out there. He's just ahead of Sharky. Sharky's starting to battle his way back towards the front of the pack. He had that coming together, of course, with John on corner 1. Slippy P1, 6 seconds on P2. Thanks for the update, Bendit. So Kawazuri's got a little bit of a gap, 1.8 seconds behind Blue Paladin, but 7/10 for Sharky, and Sharky will close him down. He's a very, very hot competitor. Now, they have a choice of cars. They can use the M6, which is either the Sprint or the Endurance model, pretty much the same performance-wise. The M3, of course, and the Z4 is also available to them. I imagine most drivers will have a car that they favour. As Sharky puts in the fastest lap of the race last lap, actually, would have won 40.9. But you may see over the course of this series that a number of drivers use different cars, depending on what suits their driving style for that particular track. And we will pop up a calendar at some point and go through what is occurring over the next few weeks. And I'll tell you what, I've really been looking forward to this, probably more than any other race series. It's something new, it's something different, and it's not often we see people using BMWs, because often in GT7, when you've got this kind of BOP races, it's not the go-to car for most people. So the fact that we've kind of isolated these cars, absolutely awesome. As Blue Paladin making the move on Kawazuri up into 8th place, sorry, 7th place, because Kawazuri held on. And Sharky going through. So actually Blue Paladin is having a little bit of a mare, dropping down through the order as the American driver. Let's have a look at Zeno. Zeno is absolutely on fire at the moment. 7.9 seconds clear. We are 12 minutes into this 1 hour race here at Sardenga A. And I probably should start going through the new corner names. There are some really, really cool ones. Give me a second and I will we'll go through it. So we'll stick with Zeno, because Zeno is our race leader. Here we go. Right, so you come round the final turn, which is what's it called? It's called the Oak Crab Corner. Through Pearly Gates, which is turn 15, and then you get on the power heading up the hill towards the very aptly named Uh-Oh. Here they go up to Uh-Oh corner. 100-metre board, of course, on those brakes. Through Zeno goes into Uh-Oh, and then you've got the S's, turns 2 and 3. Now, holy smokes, 2 and 3. This is sector 1, takes you into Yikes corner, turns 4 and 5. Get on those brakes down to 3rd gear, get that turned in, get it pointed in the right direction, flick it into 2nd for the other part of Yikes, up to turn 6, which is the Pray For Me bend. And absolutely Pray For Me. You've got the church right there, and you've got a wall on the other side. So it's either God or wall, whichever one you want. Turn 7, yawn. Turn 8, yawn, number 2, and then you head up to and big braking zone at turn 9 as he comes into it now. This is, dang it, very American, these corners. These are not expressions that we often use here in the UK. We're much cruder than that. We use C words and F words more often. Whatever is turn 10, and the shoot bend, which is 11. Dadgummit at 12, and then this left-hander is Daisy, or Oopsie Daisy, at turn 13, which takes you back down to, of course, oh crap, corner. There we go. So yeah, I do have to say this. American rudeness is so much more polite than British, isn't it? Oopsie daisy and yikes and oh crap. It's so much better than the stuff that we churn out here on a regular basis in the UK. But there we go. Right, let's have a full rundown of how we're doing. We are 15 minutes in, 1/4 into this race here. This is the BMW Cup. I don't know why I thought about that. It's the GT Champions BMW Cup, brought to you by HyPrix. We're at Sardinia A. This is round 1. This is the lead lobby. These are the elite drivers, and at the moment the best of the best is this guy right here, Zeno from the Netherlands. Monkey Man Macho up to second place. He's found his way around Natu. He is a black flag driver, and he is super quick, flying that black flag for us guys right now. Awesome job from him. A le in front of the name, so Lezino, Le Monkey Man Macho. That's a good shout thingy actually. Legion, we are in Italy of course. There is Legion, and Legion has fought his way actually back to third after having that little incident with Sharky in turn 1 on lap 1. But he's not having it all his own way. Karama, the French driver, Le Karama, is not having any of it. He doesn't want John to be ahead of him. But while these guys are battling, it does lots and lots of favours for Monkey Man Macho. There is Karama running in 4th. Natu dropping down the order now. He's back in 4th. And you can see that he's actually got some really good pace. But he's got Greasy Sam Squanch, Canadian driver for company. Really quick driver. And we know that this HyPrix driver can put you under immense pressure. Can Natu handle the pressure? From Le Greasy, Le Sam, Le Squanch. Le Kawazuri from Britain. He's the other HyPrix driver, just behind Greasy. 3.4 seconds behind. It's some distance, but he's pretty comfortable. I mean, he doesn't have to worry too much about attack or defence. His job is just chucking those lap times in. Fastest man on the racetrack, of course, at the moment is still Sharky, who's some way back. You can't handle the truth. There he is. He's in 8th. Second Canadian driver, racing very quickly. He's done a 140.9, which is only 0.3 off the fastest lap. Don't count him out just yet. Behind him, 1.9 seconds back, American driver, the Blue Paladin, looking pretty darn racy. We did see him lose a few places from the start dropping down the order, but he's kind of slotted into his position now, sitting in 9th place. Oh, you meant in front of the corner names thing. I think you're right, actually. I'll do it again in a minute with the corner names. It probably makes, actually, to be fair, it makes much more sense than for the drivers. Kaizan from Australia, wishing Tyler the best of luck with his new Mash Spuds Racing team. And at the moment, sitting there currently locking out that top 10 for Mash Spuds Racing. Or I'm going to call them Jacket Potato. For no other reason than because I can. HPR. Nope, that one. HPR from Malaysia. Very quick driver. Another Mash Spuds racer just behind his team leader. 2.5 seconds behind. Now, we're talking about teams because this is the first time for GTC that we have not just an individual championship, but we also have the team championship. And we'll stay with HBR for a bit because he's pretty darn quick. So essentially everybody enters as an individual, and you've got your own races, and then the point system incredibly complicated. I'm not going to try and bore you with it now, but essentially the higher the lobby you're in, the more points you get for your positions. But your top 3 drivers from each team, their points count towards the team championship. So, for instance, when you've got teams like HyPrix and like Mash Spuds who have got 2 drivers in the top division, they're going to be in a much better position to score the big points for the team driving competition, because the performance of your best performing 3 drivers counts towards the team competition. Now, if one of your drivers leaves this 6-race series and you are expected to have raced in all, so HPR gets a little bit loose there, and Sharky makes the move up into 11th. Good move there by Sharky. Pounces when HPR leaves the gap open. That is Sharky on his... Now, I can tell you, Sharky's not from the US. Sharky's from Australia, but there's been a problem with his Australian account, and he's had to log into his American account to race this evening. Don't know what the problem is, but he is still with us. Yeah, so if so, all drivers are expected to race in all 6 races. And it was kind of set in stone from day one. Is that if you are entering the BMW Cup, and this kind of stems from the issues we had with the World Championship, that people were pulling out, and we ended up with lobbies with only sort of 7 or 8 in them. Is that if you sign up for the BMW Cup, you're signing up for 6 races, and things happen last minute that you can't expect. But for the most part, if you're here because you can race in all 6. If, however, someone does leave, their team points go with them, so your team suffers. And this encourages teams to make sure their drivers are turning up, which absolutely is so important. But great racing here so far. Right, so Zeno, he hasn't done much more than get to 8.7 seconds. He doesn't have the fastest lap of the race, but he's only a couple of tenths off, or a tenth and a half off the pace of Sharky at the moment, the current, of course, reigning GTC World Champion. But Zeno, 8.8 seconds clear of Monkey Man Macho of Black Flag Racing Team. Now, actually, let's have a good look at all the liveries while we're at this kind of midpoint. And this is where the drivers kind of settle in a little bit. That is the UNEM Esports livery, and it's very cool. Do like that. Like it a lot. Love the orange and black contrast. Of course, that's the Black Flag livery. It's the greatest livery in the history of all liveries. Karama, he's racing for. He races with Sharky, doesn't he? So that'll be. I'm going to have to memorise these teams, to be fair, but that would involve doing some research beforehand. And as you guys know, I wing it every single time. Do love this livery. I loved it in qualifying. I still love it. I think it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Whoever did it, genius, absolute genius. It's brilliant. Of course, there is the HyPrix livery, which we all know and love. Very distinctive, stands out, and you can check more of this out tomorrow. I will be broadcasting my iRacing adventure tomorrow in the HyPrix Clio Cup, which will be about 5 p.m. UK tomorrow, I think it is. Yeah, 5 p.m. UK. I can tell you now, I spent a lot of time last week and got quite familiar with the track at Alton Park. I am struggling with Lime Rock Park this week. It's going to be a mess, I can tell you that. So if you want to watch me hit lots of walls, wreck lots of cars, and spend a lot of time in the pits, yeah, come and join me. It should be awesome. And there we go. So look at that. That's Greasy Sam Squadge making a move up into 4th. Gets that move, John. It gets it done on John, not John on Don. Gets it done, and John has to tuck in behind into 5th place. There's Natu chucking that same livery as Sharky. Sharky's kind of team, isn't it? He's a very quick driver, Natu. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him in or around that top 3. And John and Greasy, look at them ahead. Still got a battle going on between those two. John not giving up that position easy. Greasy having to fight to keep him behind. Kawazuri from HyPrix got his little sort of Japanese influence on the side there. And he is racing for the United Kingdom, but Kawazuri does suggest he is a Japanese driver. You can't handle the truth. You can handle the truth. Here he is, Sector 7 Racing. Love this red and black livery for Sector 7. Always chucks out good liveries, these guys. The Blue Paladin, same livery, same team as John up ahead. He's got Kaizan and Sharky, though. Look at this, on them. Big time. This is a big battle. Sharky makes the move on Kaizan. Kaizan drops down to 11. Can Sharky now make the move on Blue Paladin? Let's go on board with Sharky and just watch this battle. He's looking around the outside. It's a very difficult racetrack to overtake. Very narrow. Up the inside he goes. Can he get this move done? He's got this inside line. Can he get on the power and make it stick? He does. Blue Paladin goes very wide. Kaizan allowed through as well. That's a massive, massive change to those three positions. So we can see here, Sharky just gets up the inside in that BMW, gets on the brakes, holds that inside line so much better. Blue Paladin going a little bit wide, and Kaizan able to capitalise and just follow Sharky through up into, or back into 10th. So John still up into 4th. We've got Blue Paladin, who's dropping down that order a little bit now. He's down into 11th place. HPR4 Mashed Spuds, or Jacket Potato Racing, 4.1 seconds is the gap between him and Blue Paladin. He's in a bit of no man's land, really. He's gapped to Nico 6 seconds. And LJ V15, he is 12.5 seconds back from Mashed Spuds. I remember the Mashed Spuds guys in the qualifying last week. I think the three of them at one stage were absolutely chucking out almost identical lap times. But today, not quite the same. As Monkey Man Macho Man, for Black Flag, of course, with the fastest lap. That's a 40.5. That's a phenomenally quick lap from him. And flying that Black Flag for us at the moment. Zeno, the lead cut down to 8.3 seconds. We say cut down. We're approaching the halfway point, and he is 8 seconds clear of the pack. Clearly a very, very quick driver. I was told actually when he got into qualifying, one of the Black Flag guys, Bendit, who couldn't race this evening, his wife surprised him with a family trip. But he told me that he'd been speaking to Zeno, and Zeno was incredibly quick and actually was holding back in qualifying. And I thought, well, really, is he? Why would he do that? But you can see already, 8.1 seconds clear, that he is a force to be reckoned with. But Monkey Man Macho for Black Flag running in second. He's 4.1 clear of the French driver Karama. But there is a battle going on now for third at the moment. We've got Karama currently in that position. Greasy from Canada. He is 0.8 of a second back. He's got John 27 just behind him. John is not going to want to give this up. He's going to keep this battle going. Bear in mind that John was up there from qualifying and would have been further up the order had he not had that little coming together with Sharky early doors. Not too far back, 1.8 seconds. He's got a little bit of clear air front and back. There's Natu. He's going to want to stick with this battle as much as possible, because when you've got three cars racing that close together, there is always going to be that chance there's a coming together or a little bit of an issue somewhere, and you find that they end up with just creating space for somebody else, shall we say, for want of a better expression. Kawazuri for HyPrix, he's just ahead of The Truth, and The Truth is right on top of him for Sector 7 Racing, trying to find a way through. Can Kawazuri hold him at bay? At the moment, these drivers very, very close in terms of pace, very close in terms of ability, and that's the great thing about this. As Greasy Sam Squanch actually pitting quite early, so he's opting for... Everybody's going to have to pit at some stage. Whether they opt to do that at this stage or whether they hold on longer is entirely down to them. It's not like the GTC Championship where there is a set pit window. You pit when you want. If you don't have to pit, don't pit. But Greasy and Kawazuri coming in at the halfway point. Now that is interesting because they're both racing for HyPrix in Race City. So you know that both these guys have worked on this strategy during practice. So it'd be interesting to see how this pans out. It does put them both to the back of the pack, but in terms of the rest of the race, where does it sit them? Now I can tell you, and it wouldn't be a secret because there's no kind of mandatory tyre requirements. Everybody is running the soft compound tyre because they do, you know, as long as the tyre makes it past the halfway point, doesn't really matter. Nobody's going to chuck on any other sort of tyre if they don't need to. Just wet in the throat before I lose my voice. Zeno leads the way, 8.6 seconds, still leading. Monkey Man still in second, 4.8 seconds back. Trying to find where there's a battle, and this is a battle at the moment. John up to third, obviously with Greasy going in as he did. He's got Karama right there. Karama putting into the pits actually, so John gets a little bit of a breather. He's allowed to just relax a little bit now. He's got a bit of a gap. 4.9 to Monkey Man and 2.3 behind him to Natu. It's interesting actually because we look at lap times. So we look at Zeno, he is consistently in those high 140s to the low 141s. He's had the odd anomaly with a 42 in there, but for the most part he is high 140s, low 141s. Monkey Man Macho, he did have the fastest lap of the race until Sharky did that 140.3. He did a 40.5, did Monkey Bear Macho, and he's in those high 40s, low 41s. But of course, he had to fight his way through the field. Zeno was already on pole. But the interesting thing is that Zeno he seems to find that extra tenth, that extra couple of tenths each lap, which keeps that gap at 8.9 seconds. But it will be interesting to see when Zeno pits. I'm not going to give away strategy. What I can tell you is that of the three drivers in the top three currently, one has to pit very soon, one has to pit soonish, or one can hang it out a little bit longer. So Natu's done really well on fuel actually, so he'll be out for a little while longer, and it looks to me that most drivers are going to try and give themselves the best possible run late on by pitting a little bit later. And it's got to be the favourable strategy, I think, is that the longer you can hang out there and you're still putting in the pace and consistency. I do talk about it a lot. Look at the consistency in Natu. So we look at Zeno. Zeno's quick, there's no doubt, but there's a kind of 1 to 1.2 second spread in the times. Same with Monkey Man Macho, same with John. But look at Natu. 41.3, 41.3, 41.5, 41.2, 41.3. That is consistency personified. And it's consistency like that wins races. Because it's all well and good if you can put in laps like Sharky did, that 40.3. And I'm not taking away the quality of that lap. It's absolutely phenomenal. But if you can go out there and you can put in the same lap after lap after lap in that kind of top end of pace, you are always going to be there or thereabouts when it comes to the big prizes at the end. And that's the mark of a very, very talented racing driver. And I'm not suggesting that someone who can go super quick isn't talented, but it takes a very special driver to be able to take a time delta and work to that delta lap after lap after lap. We're on lap 20. We're going to about 38 laps-ish. If Natu can put in those laps, excluding in and out laps and that kind of thing, but if he can do those deltas for every single lap over the course of the race, it does show phenomenal talent. And I do want to applaud that. I tell you where it's not been getting some love. And they should be, because they're in lobby one. There's Nico, the Aussie driver. He's 11.1 seconds behind. He's been in the pits, so he is at the back at the moment behind HBR. He is also pit. Kaizan from Mash Buds, he's pit. 1.1 behind Sharky, who has also been into the pits. The Truth is pit. He's in 10th. He's 4.6 behind Kawazuri, who has pit. Kurama has pit. Greasy Sam Squanch. Oh, he's had a little problem. You can't park that there, mate. Let's see what happened to Greasy. So he's come down to... I can't remember the name of the corner. Sorry, Chris. I did try and memorise them. Oh, on the power. He got on that loud pedal just a little bit too early. A little bit too brave with the loud pedal. And into the wall. Excuse me, goes Greasy Sam Squanch. And losing a couple of places. Oh, frog in my throat. Bear with me, guys. Sorry. There we go. So, yeah, that scuppered his top 3 hopes for the time being. Of course, it is only on light damage. It's not heavy damage, so it can be repaired as you go along. But it does affect the performance of the car. And you can see there that lap 20 wasn't the greatest of laps for him. Zeno from the lead into the pits. Monkey Man Macho, does he stay out or does he follow him in? No, he goes into the pits as well. Natu, I think he's going to stay out, you know. Absolutely he does. Stays on the left-hand side. No intention of going in. So your new race leader, for the first time, we're on lap 22, and it's the first time we see a new leader on the track, and that is Natu. And he is probably about 2 laps away from pitting, in my opinion. My humble and probably wrong opinion. So Monkey Man in, Zeno in, LJ, he's coming through. He hasn't pit yet. He will be pitting this lap. John has been in. So the lead runner from that has pit is Zeno. He's just come out. Monkey Man Macho, he's coming out. He'll be in 3rd. LJ into the pit. Then we've got John. John will come through into 4th place. 10.3 seconds back. So only drivers left to pit. There is Natu currently running in the lead. I said 2 laps. He'll probably come in this lap now, which will be lap 22. And I think that's it. I think everybody else now has been in to the pits. I don't know why this guy's joining the room. He needs to get the fuck out. I do know the guy that's just joined the room, and he does often join some stuff, but no, he's gone. He knows the drill. But let's be fair. Read the thing at the top. You know what it says, and you know you shouldn't be joining. Let's not be stupid, eh? Right, Natu is 29 seconds clear of Zeno. It'd be interesting to see, actually. So the gap between Monkey Man Macho and Zeno is still just over 8 seconds. So no time really was gained in the pit stops. What is going to be key is how much fuel's put on board. And if anybody is under-fueled in order to try and gain a few seconds in the pits. And also whether they can still be competitive with that fuel. So Natu leads away. He'll come round and pit at the end of this lap. Actually, lap 23. So he stayed out for another. I said 2 laps. Sometimes I get things right, and I don't even know it. Zeno in 2nd. Monkey Man Macho 3rd. Let's go right to the back of the pack. There's LJ. He's 13 seconds back from Nico. So 2 Australians are bringing up the rear at the moment. 8.2 seconds is the gap between Nico and Blue Paladin. Blue Paladin, though, has got a really good battle going on with HPR at the moment. 7/10 of a second separate these 2 drivers. Can Blue Paladin, who at one stage was running in the top end of this race, can he find a way past the incredibly quick, incredibly wily HPR Malaysian driver, another driver for the newly formed Mash Spuds Racing, headed of course by Kaizan, ex-Black Flag, I will say. If he wins, he's ex-Black Flag. If he comes last, I have never met him. I'm joking, of course. Love you, man. Love you, Ty. 7.4 seconds is the gap to his teammate Kaizan, who has got 2.8 second gap between him and the man who you can't handle, because you can't handle the truth. And he is right up behind Sharky, the fastest man on the track at the moment, the one at 40.3. That fastest lap matters, people. It matters. It might not matter for the result of this race, but it matters for where you sit on the grid in the next race. Very, very important. It determines which lobby you're in. It determines where in that lobby you start. Very, very important. 0.8 of a second is the gap to Sharky. Then we've got a 4-second gap. That's to Kawazuri, the HyPrix driver, and he is 4.5 seconds. And it's what I like to call the perfect sandwich, is that the gap in front and the gap behind is exactly the same, give or take half a second, of course. The French driver Karama is trying to find a way to close on Greasy. Greasy down in 5th. We saw him have that little instant which put his car into the wall. He got a little bit brave with the loud pedal coming out of the final corner. And the final corner, I need to bring it out, of course, don't I? The final corner is the oh crap corner. Well, it's not the final corner because you've got the pearly gates, but it's the oh crap corner. And I'm pretty sure that when he got on that loud pedal and the back end stepped out of that BMW, he said something like oh crap, and probably some other choice words as well, which we're not going to print at this stage. Natu does finally pit at the end of lap 24. He really got his fuel's worth. Now, the interesting thing is that he's taken the car a little bit deeper into the race than everybody else, and he's maintained that incredible pace. If he can, he's at a stage now where he's managed to save fuel and go deeper. So if he can spend less time in the pits putting fuel on, which he'll need to do, because he's not going to stay in as long as everybody else because he's winning later. If he can continue with that pace, where does he finish? I mean, he slots into 3rd, and that's, I was going to say 45 seconds, not 45 seconds anymore. That's 4.6 seconds ahead of John. He is 4.5 behind Monkey Man Macho, who's running really well there. He's closed that gap actually on Zeno to 7.7 seconds, having just put in a 40.5. 1 minute 40.5, of course. So Zeno leads. He's the Dutch driver, 7.5 seconds clear of Monkey Man Macho Man. I'm not going to play the song because I don't want a copyright infringement. I don't know how strict the village people are with copyright infringements in the United States. I know I get away with it here in the UK, but because a lot of our audience are the other side of the pond, I won't risk it. John 27 TCT. I wonder what TCT stands for. He is the lead Aussie, 3.1 seconds behind Natu, and he is 1.5 clear of the lead Canadian Greasy for HyPrix in Race City. 2.5 seconds ahead. And actually, I do want to point out, right, the massive nationality spread here in the BMW Cup. If we look at the top 8 right there, we've got Dutch, British, it's Hong Kong, right? Australia, I was going to say Canada. Canada, it's not Canada. Canada is not a place. Canada is. Canada is somewhere I just made up. Karama for France, Kawazuri, British, but I think he's Japanese heritage, and Sharky from the United States. Well, he's not, he's Australian, but it says United States, and it looks good for United Color or Benetton. I don't know if anybody outside the UK gets that reference, but we used to have a series of adverts here in the UK for Benetton, and it used to have a mass range of nationalities all in a big crowd doing something together. And it used to finish the advert with United Colors or Benetton, and it used to have that kind of spread of nationality for their advert. But it is amazing to see how many different nationalities are covered. Just in this first lobby, we've got Dutch, British, we've got Hong Kong, we've got Australian, we've got Canadian, we've got French, we've got American. We have further down anyway. We've got Malaysian, American there. I mean, it's massive, massive world. It really is a world tournament now, the GTC, and I love it. Absolutely love it. there's your race leader, Zeno. And he's still dominating. It must be quite comfortable to be in that position where you, from pole, you get out into the lead. You're 7.3 seconds clear. You haven't really got to worry too much. And your only real worry at this stage is to manage that gap. And that if the gap starts closing to 3 seconds, to 2 seconds, then you have to do something different. But at the moment, he just needs to chuck in laps. And he's done 40.9, 40.8, 40.9, 41.1. He's found some incredible consistency since the pit stop. And that's just allowed him to keep that gap. As we head into the last 15 minutes of this race. If you are just joining us, I'm Open Pirate. This is the GT Champions, powered by HyPrix in Race City, BMW Cup. It is a choice of 3 cars, the M3, the M6, of which there are 2 options, the Sprint and the Endurance, and the Z4. Nobody this evening actually running that Z4. I can tell you why, because I've driven it, and it's a big bag of spanners. And I do know there's a couple of drivers planning to race it in race 2, and I pray for them now. Not that I believe in all that, but I pray for them now. Anyway, moving swiftly on. You're watching Zeno. He is the Dutch driver currently leading this race by 7.5 seconds. He was the fastest man in qualifying. He absolutely dominated his qualifying race last week, and with the fastest lap was on pole and has stayed there. There was a brief period where this man here, Natu, in 3rd position, led the race because he just stayed out that much longer. But he's got John now for company, the lead Australian driver, and John here fully intends to make a move past Natu should the opportunity present itself. He's got that bit of slipstream heading down to turn 1, or as it's more commonly known, because it's not turn 1 anymore, it's and then they head into the holy smokes S's, turns 2 and 3. Excuse me, I feel like I'm getting a cough of some sort, and I really hope I don't get laid up. I'm very busy over the next couple of weeks. So here they go into the yikes corner, and he's getting closer and closer. No real place to overtake here as they head for Pray For Me. But if you stick in behind, there's always the opportunity as you head through the yawns. This is yawn number 1. Yawn number 2, which flicks you around to the right hand side, but they are, sorry, the left hand side, but they are flat out. And I'm sorry, you can't call it. If you can keep your foot on the accelerator and you don't have to brake, then it's not a corner. Okay? That's how I count it. So if you're flat out, I no longer count it as an actual corner. And there are several racetracks that do that. Into Dang It they head. And then once they get through Dang It, it's whatever. It's the shoot bend. It's the dadgummit. Oopsie daisy. Which they're going into now. That's the oopsie daisy. Sorry, that was the oh crap. The oopsie daisy before that. That was the oh crap. And it takes you down to Pearly Gates, which is just a little lift. The slightest of lifts. Nothing too strenuous. And we complete lap 28. And John has not caught Natu yet. LJ still bring up the rear for Mashed Spuds Racing, or Jacket Potato Racing, whichever one you want to call them. The 2 Australians at the back of the pack, him and Nico in 13th. Colin didn't make it today. He did sign in, but he didn't make it to the race, and that means Colin is no longer a Lobby 1 driver. He will return next week, if he does return, in Lobby number 4. But that also means that there was someone from Lobby 2 who might be moving up. And from what I understand, another Black Flag driver in the shape of our livery genius, Slipstream himself, currently leading in Lobby 1, or at least he was last time I checked. Blue Paladin, he is the only US-based driver racing out there today, currently in 12th. He's 1.9 seconds behind HPR from Malaysia. There he is. for Mashed Spuds Racing, and he's 12 seconds behind the Mashed Spuds leader, the glorious leader of Mashed Spuds, my friend and yours, Tyler Kaizan, Ty 98, 1.7 behind The Truth, who's kind of settled into that bit of a rhythm, Canadian driver. Behind Sharky not from the US. Ignore the badge because Sharky is as Australian as a koala. Kawazuri for Simrace City HyPrix, or HyPrix Simrace City, to give it its correct name. It's 5.8 seconds behind Karama, but he's got Sharky right there. Sharky really putting some pressure on the back of the HyPrix driver now. Can he find a way through? He is the fastest man on the racetrack. He's done a 140.1, which he did after the pit stops. And look at that for consistency. In that succession of 8 or 9 laps, the slowest was a 40.8, and the quickest a 40.1. Not quite the crazy grouping that we've seen from a couple of the drivers, but that is insane pace to maintain on a regular basis. Can he find a way past Kawazuri? He's really tucked in behind there, and the slipstream is going to help. But as they head up, the end of Sector 2, beginning of Sector 3 is a very difficult place to overtake, and you're kind of relying on the car in front of you succumbing to the pressure. Sharky taking a very different line through there. He's going for the switcheroo, but Kawazuri wise to that move and just blocks off any opportunity for Sharky to make his way through. Sharky again having a little look. Will he go wide again this time? No, you can't really make the overtake there. Into oh crap, is there an opportunity here? Does Kawazuri do a greasy and get brave with the loud pedal and lose the back end? Oh, it did go a little bit squirrely, but not quite full greasy into the barrier. Around this last turn 15, the pearly gates, and slipstream up towards turn 1. Revving out right to the maximum as he head up to turn 1. He's going very wide, going for the old switcheroo. Kawazuri's going to block off that inside line, does not want Sharky to make the move. He's working very hard, Kawazuri, to keep Sharky at bay, and at some point something's got to give. Either Sharky is going to make the move, Kawazuri is going to make a mistake. Sharky's going to make a mistake. I was going to say Sharky's going to make a mistake, but he very nearly had an opportunity to make a move there into Yikes, but didn't get that move done. Into Pray For Me. Is there an opportunity to Pray For Me? There's not. Kawazuri doing everything in his power to hold this amazing young driver off, but makes a mistake. Sharky gets the run, and up through your number 1. It's not a boring corner anymore, because that's where Sharky makes the move past Kawazuri up into 7th. Can he hold it? No, he can't. Round the outside. Oh, little touch there from Kawazuri on Sharky. I don't know if that was intentional, but Kawazuri does exactly the right thing and just backs out after touching Sharky. So Sharky up to 7th. And Kawazuri actually was leading his race in the qualifying last week, and had a little coming together with Monkey Man Macho. Monkey Man Macho completely outbroke himself into the back of Kawazuri, did absolutely the gentlemanly thing and stopped to let Kawazuri through. But because Kawazuri had gone flying off the racetrack, they both lost a significant number of places, so I had to qualify through the fastest lap method rather than finishing in the top 2. So a good move by Sharky there, does find his way through, and Kawazuri doing absolutely the gentlemanly thing. But this has allowed The Truth to close that gap quite significantly. Potentially, he could be getting involved with a battle with them, because while they've been fighting, he's been able to close on the back of them as we watch Kawazuri ahead there, having a little look up the inside of Sharky. It doesn't look to me that this battle is anywhere near over. That Sharky isn't just going to disappear off up the road. Kawazuri has no intention of allowing him to go. I did have a little look up the inside, although now the gap starting just to open up. Not much change out in front. Zeno has just put in the fastest lap of the race with a 1:40.1, but he's 6.4 seconds clear. So that gap was at one stage 8.6, 8.7, has come down a couple of seconds, but he's still putting in very, very quick laps, is Zeno, the Dutch driver, as we head into the last 5 minutes of this race. So essentially we've got 3 and a bit laps. Yeah, I think 3 laps is maybe 4 laps for these leaders. Monkey Man Macho, as quickly as Zeno puts in a 40.1, Monkey Man Macho is the first driver to go sub 1 minute 40. I genuinely didn't think I would see a sub 140 lap today. I thought 141, 140.2 was going to be the pinnacle of what we would see. And this just goes to demonstrate just how talented these Division 1 drivers are here in the BMW Cup. Absolutely phenomenal lap with a 1:39.8 from Monkey Man Macho. And John just behind him, 9.4 seconds is the gap. John, 27. John's done a really good job actually, because he got tagged in turn 1 on lap 1 nearly an hour ago, and has fought his way back to 3rd. But how long can he hold on? Because right now, Greasy Sam Squanch from Canada is tucked right in behind him for HyPrix Sim Race City, and absolutely putting John under significant pressure. Now, when Greasy a few laps ago had that loud pedal emergency in this very corner when he put himself into the wall, we didn't think we'd be seeing him challenging for top 3. But this just goes to demonstrate the kind of talent that this Canadian driver has, because he's fought his way back up towards this front 3, and he is now tucked in behind John and fighting for 3rd place. He wants that podium spot. Very, very good racing from him. Is Karama back in 5th, French driver. He's able to get involved. 5.6 seconds back. Not looking like he's putting out the kind of pace of those front 4 right now. And Natu, 2.1 seconds back. I think he's going to struggle now. I think we're going to find, actually, if we drop from the field here, we've got Natu is 2.2 behind Karama. We've got Sharky 4.4 behind him. 2.7 back to Al-Zuri. The truth doing? The truth is, well, he's still fighting. He's still looking at the back of that HyPrix driver and asking himself, can I nick a few more points here? And there is a definite potential with that 1 second gap. Kaizan also, he's been in 10th pretty much perennially for this entire race. But he must be eyeing that fight between Kaizan and Drew as a potential. 16 seconds to HBR. Blue Paladin potentially looking at 11th. Nico 8.8, 8.7, and then 13 seconds back to Rojo. I think we can safely say at this stage, with 2 laps remaining here, lap 34 into lap 35, 2 laps remaining for the front runners, of course. Zeno is 6.5 seconds clear and should win this race. Monkey Man Macho. I love this boy. 39.8 is put on the board. Flying that black flag. I know commentators are supposed to be impartial, but I'm not going to be, because he's absolutely smashing the hell out of it. Good job, man. And what a way to return, because he had to drop out of the GTC because he had a failure. And so to see him jumping back in and smashing it is awesome. John is still holding Greasy off, but how long can he do it? The answer to that question is not very long at all, because that's what happened. He got the run on John. John was holding him off, and then they head down into. I'm not trying to remember. Head down into Yikes, and he makes that move into Yikes and takes 3rd place. So now sitting in the podium spots, despite his little spin, despite his little shenanigans through home track. he has now found himself back into that top three as Lucy Sanctioned. And I can tell you that he would have been broadcasting this from his own YouTube channel. Once you've watched this, and then you've obviously watched Division 2, this, and all the other bits and pieces, go and check his broadcast out because he's, I do like watching him drive. It's a very, very 40.0, that was his fastest lap of the race. It's not over though, because John is no slouch. And John's also gone sub 140, despite losing third to Greasy. He is the second driver this evening to go sub 140, 139.9. No, he's the third. So that's how he finished. Greasy finishes third. John finishes fourth. Zeno and Monkey Man get one more lap. Fifth is Natu. Sharky, fastest lap of the race, 139.7. Karama home in seventh. Kawazumi eighth. The Truth ninth. There is Kaizan, finishes 10th. HBR will come home in 11th. Don't want to miss these guys across the line, of course. There's Zeno. Still a bit of wait for them to go. HBR will come home in 11th. 39.7. Guess who's going to be on pole next week? That'll be Sharky. Blue Paladin, he comes home in 12th. 13th will be Nico. And LJ will come home 13th seconds back. But there is your race leader. He was your pole sitter. He led every lap of this race bar 4 laps, which were led by Natu. Zeno has absolutely dominated here. 7.5 seconds clear is the Dutch driver into O'Crack for the final time, and they head down to as he heads down to Pearly Gates. Through Pearly Gates he goes, and across the line. That's your race winner. That's Zeno from the Netherlands. 7.4 seconds clear of Macho Man. He's gonna be the Macho Man. He'll be on the front row, of course, next week with Sharky after that awesome lap. So there we have it. What a finish for that race, that one. Greasy nicks himself a top 3, which is always pretty darn awesome. But your winner by some way as well. Zeno absolutely dominates. Right, I'm going to go and find me some drivers to chat to. Talk amongst yourselves. I will be back very soon. How you doing? Right, I've got some drivers to talk to. We've got two of the top three. Who have we got with us?
Greasy's here.
And Zeno's here as well.
I've got to say, Zeno, you're an alien, man. But Greasy, first actually, because you were sitting in fifth, and then you went through the penultimate corner, and you were a little bit brave on the loud pedal and hit the wall.
Yeah, I just must have dropped a little bit there, and yeah, I would have been an easy third place there, but yeah, that put me on the back foot big time there. Caught it from going all the way around, and then it kept going in reverse on me because I was panic shifting. So I was one of those ones, take a deep breath and get your poop in a group.
So at that point, did you think that top three's out of the question?
Nope, I never give up. Never give up.
Awesome. So Zeno, a little bird told me, and he's one of the black drivers, that you were holding back in qualifying last week. Is that true?
Yeah, a little bit, because I just wanted to get a good lap in, to be fair, and yeah, the 54s were definitely on the table, but I was just thinking purely on this race, so I kind of had to manage both my pace and my tires so I could at least get one flying lap in, which I think in hindsight was a good choice because the pole kind of made sure I evaded all the carnage into turn one.
A lot of carnage.
Yeah, which...
I think John and Sharky had a little touch. Which, to be fair, I mean, they both recovered really well. Sharky finished 6th and John in 4th. But they so yeah, it was advantageous.
And I think, yeah, Sharky definitely recovered well. I think he has pole for next week as well. So, yeah, definitely good drive from both guys.
Right, so as I understand it, it's the fastest lap gets pole. Now, there were three drivers that went sub 140. That was Sharky did a 39.7. John did a 39.9, and Macho Man, of course, is a black flag driver. Love that boy. 39. He's the reason he doesn't do interviews and stuff because he's Lithuanian, his English isn't great. But he's bloody quick. So I think that's how it works. If someone knows if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's for what I know, and I'm not sure where I am for next week, but I think I'm probably 4th or 5th, somewhere in there.
We'll probably be right beside each other.
Yeah.
1,000th of a second behind you.
Me.
Then I think Kramer, who finished 7th. Yeah. To be fair, I just get to talk about it. I don't have to pick through the admin. How did you think the first race went? I mean, it was so close for loads of the race, wasn't it? Greasy, still there?
Yep, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so how did you think you went? I mean, it was really close for a lot of the race, wasn't it?
You know, that was probably the closest GT Champions race we've had yet in that top lobby. I really enjoyed that one because you could make a mistake and still claw your way back. It was a good race. I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
I'm involved in GTC now for all of last season, and I came about halfway through the season before that. And the massive jump in quality in the top division from over the course of just 12 months is insane. There are some real, and genuinely,
it's like top split in the GT champ or not GT champions and the World Tour stuff. It's like that. It's just impeccable driving from all.
When I looked at the 15 drivers that were coming out in Lobby 1 today, I genuinely thought I can't pick one I think might not be able to win it.
No, it could be anybody's. I think I know who I would bet on though. Somebody that's on the phone here in a Natu.
I'm really looking forward to next week. I can't wait. I want to just do all 6 races one day after the other. That'd be awesome. But listen, guys, thank you so much for joining me. It was an absolutely awesome opening to this brilliant series. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you. Well, I'm sure you hope you'll be talking to me again next week.
Most definitely.
Thank you for having us as well.
Yes, thank you for the putting it all
Let's
on.
hope. Let's hope we can talk next week as well.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Listen, guys, thank you so much, and we'll catch up soon.
Peace out, everybody.
Have a good one.
Keep greasy.
So there we have it, guys. That was Greasy, and that was your winner, Zeno. First and third this week, and what a race that was, eh? We are going to jump back and just go over the final classified finish, which is right here. So Zeno in the M6, in fact everybody I think used the M6, won that race from Monkey Man Macho. Greasy Sam Squant came in third and rounded out that podium for HyPrix Sim Race City. John fought back well after that turn 1 incident with Sharky to finish in 4th. Natu in 5th. Sharky with that fastest lap, the 1:39.7. He'll be on pole next week. He is just behind Natu in 6th. Kurama, the French driver, in 7th. Kawazuri for HyPrix in 8th. The Truth for Sector 7 Racing, he was in 9th place, just ahead of Kaizan for Jacket Potato Racing, from Australia, of course. HPR behind him in 11th, another Jacket Potato Racing driver. Blue Paladin in 12th. Nico was in 13th, and LJ rounded out that top 14. Colin was a no-show today, but everybody in that M6, which I think, to be fair, is probably the predominant car. Some use the Sprint, some use the Endurance, but that was the predominant car. So there we have it. We are done. We are finished. Over until next week. Wow. What a race that was. I think we'll be talking about that for a while to come. Now we're finished here. Jump over to the broadcast that Chris put in for Lobby number 2, and there's now a racing there, and I'm sure that was just as exciting as it was here in Lobby 1. But all that's left to say is thank you very, very much for joining me. I've been Owen Pirate from Black Flag Racing TV. This has been the GT Champions HyPrix Sim Race City BMW Cup, round number 1, and we will be back next week for more of this spicy shizzle.